20 sleep for Romy. That ball's hammered to left field. This one is over the wall. That's a two-run home run. It just snuck over the wall. Carlos Narvaez gives Boston the lead.
What a win. What a win that was. I mean, what's going on here these last couple of series, right? You drop both of the series to the Cubs and the Phillies, but they save the theatrics for the final game, right? You go back to Chicago. You go back to Wrigley, right? Wilyer Bregman putting the Red Sox on their backs. And then here tonight, Romy with the grand slam. Carlos Narvaez with the game-winning home run. Trevor Story tying it up along the way. Clutch bats, you got to love it here for the Red Sox. First extra inning road win of the season. Again, you've lost back-to-back series here, but you've seen the Red Sox show you that they can hang with the big boys. I know they lost both of these series, but they are showing you the ability where they can win these close games. They can come through late in these kind of games. And you felt like this sort of postseason atmosphere, especially here in Philly. I mean, they've been all about the postseason here for the last few years. So it feels like anytime you go to Philly, no matter who you are, it's going to feel like the postseason. But you had that bit of a feel in this series, right? Even go back to that Cubs team, very tough team. But again, the Red Sox stepping up when they needed to. But, again, they're showing you that they can come through against these big teams, but they are also showing you they need a little bit of help. They need a little bit of bolstering on this team. They need a number two in the rotation. They need another bat somewhere. I would probably say a left-handed hitting first baseman, right? An upgrade over Toro, right? Love what Toro's been able to do for the Red Sox this year, but I think there is a time here where you're looking at maybe an upgrade needing to be made. I think both of these series here, while sure, they look negative, right? Because you've dropped both of them, but you are seeing some positives here, and you are seeing the momentum building towards the trade deadline. And we're getting closer here, a week away from tomorrow. I think the Red Sox are going to make some moves, and we actually do have some news on that tonight. We have a little something from John Heyman, Buster Olney on Dylan Cease. Little something, some golden little tidbits. Got a good show. For tonight. And also, shout out for these guys stepping up here tonight in the lineup for picking up Lucas Giolito. Lucas Giolito, a rough night for him. Holy cow, they were going to town against this guy. They were taking this guy's lunch money and buying lunch and eating it right in front of him. 4 home runs allowed tonight by Lucas Giolito. I'll get into his outing here in just a little bit. But overall, it was a fun night. This was a great game, right? For not just us Red Sox fans here tonight. You could even say Phillies fans, baseball fans, everywhere. It was just a good game, right? And on ESPN. Didn't realize it was on ESPN here tonight. But see a lot of you trickling on in. Thank you for joining me here tonight. We do have a bit of a late show here tonight. That's just the way the cookie crumbles when it came to the end of the game there tonight. Also, Marcelo Meyer leaving tonight's game with a little bit of what looked like some right wrist discomfort. Hopefully, that ends up not being anything. You had to see Alex Bregman. He came in later on. He ended up getting a pink shit appearance. Hopefully, they are good to go when it comes to Marcelo Meyer. Hopefully, nothing's wrong there. You always got to be a little weary about the wrist, right? We'll see. But everyone, if you can, just hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. We are trying to get to 5K by the end of the season. So if you are just finding us for the first time, welcome. Make yourself here at home, here at Monster Territory. And we're going to get this show on the road. Do want to let you know, hopefully, as of right now, I'm not going to make full promises here. But right now, we do have a very special guest lined up for Friday. Not going to tell you who it is. And I'm not trying to, I'm hoping it happens. I'm hoping we are good to go with it. You never know. Things can always happen last second, last minute, but be on the lookout for, I would say, a good possibility of a bonus episode on Friday. We do have the day off tomorrow. Got the Dodgers coming up this weekend. We got the Dodgers coming up this weekend. No Mookie Betts. Shohei Ohtani's not going to be on the mound. the baseball fan in me says unfortunately, but the Red Sox fan in me says, okay, I feel all right about that. I'm okay. You don't need Shohei pitching. It's okay. But we'll get into those matchups here by the end of the show tonight. Again, we'll go over some trade deadline stuff. We are drawing closer here. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? Let's get the show on the road. And let's start here with Lucas Giolito. There's not really much to break down here with the Giolito pitching performance. This was a rough one here tonight for Giolito. I could go in and look at zone percentage. I could look at exit velo. I can look at, vertical break on the slider, the separation with the changeup and the fastball. No need to do that tonight. This guy got absolutely clobbered here tonight. 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned, 4 home runs. I gotta say, though, I mean, I don't know. I can't really give credit to Giolito here, but at least he found a way to get through 4 innings. I mean, my goodness. I will say, for Alex Cora, good job letting him not letting him go back out there for the 5th inning. I was thinking about, let me actually go here. How many pitches was he at for tonight? Let me pull that up really quick. So Giolito tonight, he was only at 57 pitches. So I was thinking to myself, oh man, he's going to put him out there for the 5th inning. I don't know. I was having a pretty hard time imagining him coming out for the 5th, but because he was only at 57 pitches, I don't know. I was, in a way, sort of expecting it. I'm glad Cora went to the bullpen, right? You got the day off tomorrow. There was really no need, in my opinion, to keep Giolito in this game tonight, but pretty rough performance. He was just leaving meatballs all over the plate. We just talked about this last night. Every post-game show, I do a preview for the next game. I'll dive into the pitching matchups a little bit. Oh, we got something from Rob Bradford here. Marcelo Myers said he felt his wrist in the second at-bat, expects to get an MRI. Couldn't remember the feeling of a wrist issue in 2022, so he couldn't compare. So I guess he had something a few years ago. I don't know. Well, it's definitely something. It sounds like it was probably a bit of a tweak. Probably misses a little bit of time here. Hopefully it's nothing serious. We'll see. But Marcelo Meyer is going to be getting an MRI that is coming in from Rob Bradford. Where was I? I was talking about Giolito last night for the preview for tonight's game. I said the key for him, you got to keep those fastballs up. That's where he likes to live happy. All right, keep that velo up in the zone, up above the zone, and keep the changeups down in the zone. Well, he didn't do that, ladies and gentlemen. I said the key for Giolito is to just execute his pitches, right? Just like every other pitcher, but more so for him because that is a good game plan that he sticks to. Rough first inning. Trey Turner, leadoff base hit. Schwarber, second home run of the series, made it 2-0. Left a changeup just right over the fat part of the zone. You can't do that with any of these guys, especially Kyle freaking Schwarber. Who knows? Maybe Kyle Schwarber comes back to the Red Sox next year. We'll see. Alex Cora actually did touch on that. I believe he was speaking with WEEI. They asked him to go a little further into those comments, saying that he was intrigued with Schwarber's upcoming free agency. I don't know if Cora backpedaled a little bit. I'm not sure. But he pretty much said, he always cares about his former players. So we'll see if that actually turns into anything. I did do a segment on that last night. I did post a separate video. Go check that out. I give you my thoughts on Kyle Schwarber maybe returning to the Red Sox next season. Then Harper, he came up 3-0. Home run, fastball right down the middle. Yeah, you can't be leaving these kind of pitches over the plate with Schwarber and Harper. Second inning, stopped with a double, but he got through the second after that. Third inning, hung a slider to Castellanos. Home run, made it 4-0. Fourth inning, hung another slider to Stott. 5-0. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you out there turned off the TV. You said, forget this. I'm gonna go get myself a snacky snack. Maybe go have myself a little drink, and I'm going to go get myself an early night of sleep. I'm going to go get ready for my my Thursday tomorrow. Well, the offense decided to turn it on after that. Before we do get to the offense, though, we got to pay the bills over here. I'll be right back. Ever bet On baseball before? Well, it's easy. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Now, here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Alrighty, let's get to this offense, shall we? Let's get to this offense. My goodness, what a whirlwind of a night. Now coming in, we knew how good Jesus Luzardo is, how good he's been for the Phillies this year. A couple of bumpy starts over the past month or so, but for the most part, Luzardo, very talented, good pickup for the Phillies this year, and he was absolutely shutting down the Red Sox here tonight. First 4 innings, he had 6 strikeouts, no hits, 1 walk allowed. I mean, you're thinking at that point, it's like, I wouldn't blame you if you turned off the TV. I wouldn't blame you. And, once you start seeing the tweets coming on through, then you say, oh, okay, I got to turn this game back on. I wouldn't have blamed you at all. It was looking rough, especially, you're getting shut down by Sanchez last night. Luzardo was just cruising on through. Would not have blamed you if you went and watched something else. But the Red Sox came alive in the 5th inning. He just lost complete command. I don't know what happened with Luzardo here. It was crazy because he was looking just dominant. Shout out Masataka Yoshida. He got it started with a double. Do people remember Masa was the one to get it all started here tonight? Seti with a 4-pitch walk. Then he ended up getting a couple of outs. Willier, Narvaez, they went down. Marcelo Meyer with the walk. Then Ref Snyder with a bases loaded walk. They made it 5-1. Duran, bases loaded walk, made it 5-2. And here was the big hit from Romy Gonzalez. You gotta love it. Shall we walk shit again? I think we gotta walk shit again.
And this ball to left field. Kepler back, still going back. That's gone. That's a grand slam, and it breaks an 0 for 20 sleep for Romy. That ball's hammered to left field. This one is.
Oh, we're not that part yet. Hold on. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Romy Gonzalez with the grand slam, making it 6-5, hung a changeup right over the zone to him. And all of a sudden, the Red Sox were back, and they were better than ever, it seemed. Quiet 6th inning. 7th inning, Narvaez. We'll get to him in just a little bit. He had the double there. Toro with the fly out, and the reason I have Toro in my notes right here is, this is a situation where you kind of wonder if maybe if we had another bat, like let's say, Ryan O'Hearn, in that situation, or Naylor, whatever, right? Where, just makes you wonder. Roman, he came in. He came into pinch hit later on in this game, and he got a couple of walks here tonight. He drew the walk. Duran with the ground out, but he beat it out to first base. But then Romy with the strikeout. Romy can't do it all, ladies and gentlemen. Had the quiet 8th inning. 9th inning. Toro got hit by the pitch. And then Roman and Duran struck out back-to-back. So, I mean, man, oh, man. I was getting a little tense at that point, not going to lie. I was feeling good after the Romy grand slam, but a part of me was still kind of hanging on by the edge of my pants. It wasn't feeling very good. Let's actually backtrack a little bit. Let's get to the bullpen before I get to the end of the game. 5th in the 6th inning, Wilson. He came in to face the left-hander Schwarber. Solid job from Justin Wilson tonight. 2 scoreless, 1 hit. 7th inning, Jordan Hicks. He got the first 2 outs, ended up giving up a double to Trey Turner. I have this in my notes as well. Wilyer Abreu. How many times is this guy? I love Wilyer. I absolutely do. The guy's an absolute menace out there. He's got one of the best arms in Major League Baseball. My goodness, he leads the Red Sox in home runs. But how many times this year has Wilyer gotten stumped on some kind of a ricocheted ball, or he overruns a ball or whatever. Am I the only one that's noticed this with Willier this year? It keeps happening every so often. But then Chapman, he came in. Very weird seeing Chapman coming in this early in the game, but this is a game you wanted to win here. He came and he got Schwarber out. He came back out for the 8th inning. And again, it's unusual to see Chapman coming in this early, but not very often you see him go across multiple innings. So he ended up sitting down and coming back out. And it's funny, it's funny how these little things, right? Any sort of a change in your routine, something seems to happen. And then he gave up a home run to JT Realmuto to tie the game at 6. Only Aroldis Chapman's 3rd home run allowed on the year, his first since May. Man, oh man. Garrett Whitlock, 1, 2, 3. Whitlock's been looking very good as of late. But then Trevor Story, getting back to the offense. Trevor Story coming through with the RBI base knock. Gave the Red Sox the lead. But then Greg Weissert, he came in. Gave up the game-tying hit to Kyle Schwarber at 7, tied it up at 7. But then Carlos Narvaez. Also, Carlos Narvaez along the way there, throwing out a runner. Holy cow, Carlos Narvaez. I mean, all the talk was all the catcher interference stuff, and it's like, I mean, the one play yesterday with Harper, stealing, it was a balk or whatever. I mean, and then you had the catcher interference after that, and then you had the walk-off catcher interference. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I think people talk about it more because it's so unusual. But really, you were probably going to lose that first game anyway. And then, the thing with Harper, he was going to be stealing home anyway. So, and that ended up being a balk, right? But I don't know. It's weird. I've been seeing people over the last couple of days just trashing on Carlos Narvaez. I swear, I actually ask myself, he's had such a good year, and I'm not even at the home run here yet. Up to this point, he's been very good, both offensively and defensively. He's one of the best defensive catchers in all of Major League Baseball. Sure, he's, had a couple of things happen to him over the last couple of games, but I see people tweeting like, oh, Narvaez, he's awful. He's really showing how awful he is defensively. And I'm like, what are we talking about? They're it's not hard to go on Fangraphs and just go look at the numbers. He ranks 3rd in defense among all Major League catchers this year. He's 4th overall among all Major League catchers in Fangraph wins above replacement. Carlos Narvaez has been amazing, and I see people coming just, out of the bushes. See, I told you, Narvaez is terrible. It's like, what are you talking about? What are we doing? He makes a 2 catcher interference, and all of a sudden he's the worst catcher in Major League Baseball. I don't get it. Anyway, throws out the runner there. He's great. And then we ended up getting this. Let's watch it again.
That ball's hammered to left field. This one is over the wall. That's a 2-run home run. It just snuck over the wall. Carlos Narvaez gives Boston the lead.
Gotta love that. Now, they did have to review it. A couple of fans were getting in on it. I saw it, as it was happening. It looked like a home run. They got the call right. They reviewed it. Alcala, he came in for the 11th. Got a couple of outs. Castellanos ground out Realmuto with the K. Struck out Realmuto 99 miles an hour. And then RBI base hit to Rojas. He ended up just moving over the runner over to 3rd. So I believe it was Harper. I'm going completely blank. But they moved him over to 3rd. So that way the runner is not able to see anything going on, like with signals and whatnot. So that's a strategy we are seeing a lot, especially when you got yourself a lead, right? At that point, it was a couple of runs. So good move, moving him over to 3rd. But you ended up getting the RBI base hit with Johan Rojas. Bernardino comes in, shuts it down, struck out Max Kepler. You got to love it. On the broadcast, I heard someone got really pumped up after that. I don't know who let out this battle cry, or I don't know who did that, but that was awesome. Was it a player? Was it a fan? I don't know, but it got me revved up. Going to be honest with you. Got me revved up. But what a great game here tonight. This was fantastic. You got to love it, man. Again, I know you've dropped a couple of series here. I'm totally aware of that. I'm not trying to be, this delusional Red Sox fan over here. I'm not trying to do that, right? I'm gonna give it to you right down the middle. Yeah, no, it's not good losing a couple of these series. But let's see over these next couple of months here, right? You're gonna have some more tough matchups along the way against postseason caliber teams. I think this was, in a way, like a good learning lesson for this team, a good lesson learned. Right? Hey, these are the teams that are going to be in the postseason. I know they've gone up against a few along the way as well, but this is the Phillies we're talking about, right? A team that is, has some of the best World Series odds every single year, up there with the Dodgers and whatnot, and the Yankees. And then the Cubs, a team that's been fantastic this year. So, again, I'm glad the Red Sox got punched in the mouth a little bit, but they swung back in the end and they said, hey, you know what? We're here. Listen, we know we still got a ways to, figuring this full thing out here. But I think the Red Sox taking a good step forward, in my opinion. And it might make me sound delusional. I know that. But I think it gives you a little, remember last year coming out of the All-Star break, you're getting swept by the Dodgers. You're dropping the series to the Rockies. Who do they play after that? I can't remember. I think they lost that series too. So at least, you've gotten a couple of wins here to salvage the series in the end, and you walk away going into the off day tomorrow with at least a good taste, a decent taste in your mouth, right? I'd rather you drop, if you're going to lose a series, drop the first two and walk away winning the third game. That's the way I've always seen it. So we got the trade deadline coming up. Red Sox are in a good spot. Taking a look at the updated standings here. And hey, it was a good night for the Red Sox to pick up a win. It was a great night, ladies and gentlemen. Great night. Taking a look at the updated standings here. The Yankees losing tonight. I was getting ready for everything here tonight. I saw it was one of the worst losses of the year for the Yankees. I don't know exactly how, so I can't give you a breakdown on that. But they lost here tonight to the Blue Jays. How about these Blue Jays, man? I was not high on this Blue Jays team. I'm going to have to make some kind of an apology to Blue Jays fans out there because I was not fully feeling this team this year, but here they are in first place, for crying out loud. But the Yankees dropping another game here. They're now only 2 games up on both the Mariners and the Red Sox. The Mariners lost again tonight, so the Red Sox, they are tied winning percentage-wise for the second wild card spot. The Rays drop a game here tonight. They fall to a game and a half out. So the Red Sox, they picked a good night to win this one. Overall, good night. I think we can all go to bed pretty feeling better. It's crazy how things can change just like that. We do have some trade deadline news to get to, but we got to pay the bills, ladies and gentlemen. We got to keep the lights on. I'll be right back.
Time for a quickie break. Todd Father and I are going to tell you about Huel, but it's mostly going to be Todd Father because I'm going to take a sip.
Well, we're talking about Huel, 27 vitamins and minerals. It's a complete meal. Let's listen. We all have busy schedules. As Scott's sipping it down, it looks delicious. It tastes delicious. When we're on the run, we need something to eat quick. And guess what? Huel is there. All different flavors. Scotty loves them. I love them. And I love how variety packed it is. And we can eat them any time of the day.
That's right. Yeah, check out the website. There's bars. There are so many different flavors. I love the black edition. Chocolate, 35 grams of protein. There's strawberry shortcake, coffee caramel, cookies and cream. I can go on. And you get yourself 15% off if you're a new customer using the code FOUL at Huel.com/foul. Please see our description for the terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition with the code FOUL at Huel.com/foul.
Trade deadline is approaching, ladies and gentlemen. It is approaching. I'm getting excited for it. I'm going to let you all know I've been doing, for the last few years, I've been doing all-day streams over on the main YouTube channel. So if you want to join me next Thursday, all day, my butt is going to be sitting here at this desk. My back is going to be killing me. My hips are going to be just aching. But we're going to be sitting here all day, and I'm going to be keeping track of everything trade deadline. Again, we're not going to be on this channel. We're going to be on the main channel. Just type in my name, Robbie Hyde, and we'll be live all day over on that channel. We do have it's actually an off day next Thursday for the Red Sox, so there will be no post game that night, but we'll definitely be reacting to the Red Sox trade deadline that night. So it's going to be a busy day for me. I'm going to be nonstop that day. But do expect me to go live probably, usual time, I'd say around 9 or 10 o'clock that night. I'm going to be live all day on the main channel. I'm going to have to go get something to eat. I'm going to be just fried. Going to need a little bit of a break. And then I'll be back here on Monster Territory reacting to the Red Sox trade deadline. Now, speaking of the trade deadline, we're going to talk about that. But if you are watching with me on NESN, we do have to wrap it up right there. We are out of time on NESN. If you want to catch the rest of the show, if you want to catch the trade deadline news that I'm going to be diving into, come on over to Monster Territory and see what we got to say. But everyone on NESN, thanks for watching, and we'll see you Friday. See you then. Here we go. Buster Olney. Let's take a look-see. What did Buster Olney have to say? Yeah, the game was on ESPN tonight. Buster Olney, ESPN. He's been there for how many years has Buster Olney been with ESPN now? I don't even know. But he put out here today, and it's really funny. I swear, are these people watching my videos? Are these people watching the stuff that I got on YouTube? I don't know, because it's so funny how all of a sudden I talk about Dylan Cease the other day in a video that I posted, and all of a sudden Dylan Cease is popping up on the market. I don't know, everyone. I don't know what's going on here. But Buster Olney, a surprise name has emerged in the starting pitcher market. Dylan Cease, who will be eligible for free agency at year's end. Perception of other teams that the Padres are intent on making a push for the playoffs and would use Cease to help fill other roster needs. Mets, AL East teams, Cubs, among the teams that have talked about him. We also had John Heyman. The Padres are listening on Dylan Cease, with the Yankees, Mets, Cubs, and Red Sox among the teams believed to have checked in. San Diego's a buyer, but often listens on the rentals. Major, long shot. Well, here's the deal, John Heyman. I don't think it's a long shot at all. I disagree with that. I don't think it's a long shot, because the Padres, here's the thing. They don't have a lot of assets to work with, right? The Padres could use a boost in offense. I'm not going to say they have like this giant surplus of starting pitching, but Yu Darvish just came back. You got Nick Pivetta, who's been solid for them this year. Michael King, he should make his way back at some point. He's been having some shoulder issues. Hopefully he's good to go, especially for his sake, because he's going to be a free agent soon. So, and they got guys like Randy Vasquez who can go into the back end. So I don't think it's a long shot at all. I think Cease, who has decent value for the next couple of months, as a guy that can really help out another team out there down the stretch, but could also help bring in something that could help their lineup. I think the Padres do need a little something for that lineup. I do think they need a bit more power, but they have been very interested in Jarren Duran. We'll get to that here in just a second. Now, we also had here from Mark Feinsand on MLB.com. Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow recently called his team's needs a little bit fluid, but adding a starting pitcher to pair with Garrett Crochet atop the rotation appears to be Boston's biggest priority. Well, since we're talking about Dylan Cease, he's mentioning starting pitching atop of the rotation. Let's talk about him. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people, again, ladies and gentlemen, Fangraphs is free. All you have to do is go on here. I keep seeing people say, Cease is washed. His ERA is near a 5. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. He's got an ERA at a 4.64, but the FIP is at a 3.49. How? Because he still racks up a good amount of strikeouts. This guy just had 10 strikeouts over 5 1/3. Granted, it was the Nationals, but still, he's racking up those Ks. He's got 11.5 strikeouts per 9 this year, 3.2 walks per 9. The home runs are up a little bit. That makes me a little uncomfy at Fenway Park. But still, he's racking up the Ks. He's keeping the walks down. It's a good strikeout to walk ratio, which is why you are seeing a better FIP compared to the ERA. Now, if you also go here on StatCast, you can take a look here. He's getting a good amount of chase. The Red Sox love swing and miss. 94th percentile when it comes to whiff percentage. 89th percentile with the strikeouts. Fastball velo's looking good. I mean, I'm not surprised the Red Sox would be interested in Dylan Cease. They've shown interest in Dylan Cease the past couple of off seasons, so it's not a surprise. Now, exit velo, not bad, 58th percentile. Giving up a decent amount of barrels, though, 26th percentile. Doesn't get a whole lot of ground balls, so he's giving up some fly balls. So walks, middle of the road for the most part, but it's not terrible by any means. I would not mind at all if the Red Sox went after someone like Dylan Cease. Now, if we're to take a look at some of the pitches here. Four-seamer this year, the expected slugging is a 429, slugging at a 434. Could that be something mechanical where if he's leaving some stuff over the plate, leaving all the, maybe some meatballs, a few too many of them, to where, these guys are just launching them. Maybe there could be something mechanical that could be tweaked to help with his location a little bit. His sinker, he's really going off of basically 2 pitches. And that's another thing that could be coming into play here. Maybe the Red Sox, if they were to bring him in, maybe they could get him to start incorporating another pitch, right? Again, maybe a small little tweak, because he's really a 2-pitch pitcher at this point. He's going with his slider 47% of the time. He's going with his four-seamer 41% of the time. And the fact that he's still racking up strikeouts with basically just 2 pitches. My goodness, if you could figure out something with one of these other ones, I know he was pretty much for the most part a 2-pitch pitcher last year, but maybe they could get something else going a little bit to help him out. Sure. Would you like that ERA to look better? Absolutely, right? It is up from last year, a full run higher, but I would be intrigued with this. And getting back to a possible trade with Jarren Durant, I've talked about this on previous episodes and other videos where it looked like the best way for the Padres to be able to land Jarren Durant would be to get, a 3-team deal set up, right? To where they could use someone like Ethan Salas, Leo DeVries. He's not going anywhere, right? Because Ethan Salas, despite the struggles that he's had with the bat, has good value. He's a top 100 prospect. He's a top 30 prospect. He's a very good defensive young catcher. He needs to get the bat going. But Salas has a lot of value, but it doesn't seem, at least from, if I'm reading the tea leaves, other teams don't really seem to be interested in Ethan Salas, and he's also dealing with a back injury. So that's where maybe Dylan Cease comes into the picture here, right? Where the Padres, if they really want to add a bat like Jarren Durant, this could maybe pave the way. Now, I do think they would have to give up someone like Jeremiah Estrada, who is a really solid reliever, good advanced metrics as well. That could be a nice arm for the Red Sox to add in the bullpen. So maybe this is a way you can do this. Jeremiah Estrada, also another thing, he's got multiple years of control, so that also increases his value here. Cash Mayfield, solid pitching prospect. He was their first-round pick last year. Someone like a Cobb Hightower, decent position player prospect, number 8 in their system as we speak on Baseball America. If you're taking a look here, he's got a 55 hit and a 55 power. Those are tools that the Red Sox like. So maybe he could be of interest to them. Whatever it may be, I don't think it's completely out of the question for the Padres to try and get a deal done for Jarren Durant, who that's been the worst kept secret in baseball this year, that they love him. If they don't want to give up Salas, maybe, or if no teams want Salas, then maybe this is a way they can do it. We'll see. It's interesting. We'll have to pay attention. But AJ Preller, he's aggressive. He's going to do everything he can to go get himself Jarren Durant. Moving on. We also got Jeff Passan coming out with his, what article was this? This is Best Fits, I believe. This was, Passan's intel on every team. So he actually mentioned the Cincinnati Reds here. And he actually says the best fit for the Reds is Jarren Durant. Now he says Hunter Green's not going anywhere, but he mentions Andrew Abbott. Andrew Abbott, it's funny. I had a little birdie this past offseason. They told me, hey, be on the lookout. Maybe Andrew Abbott gets moved this offseason, right? And ended up staying put, but it was a name I was told to pay attention to. He's a guy that's having really good results this year, if we were to pull up his numbers. Very good numbers overall. 2.13 on the ERA, FIP at a 3.42. It's the opposite of Dylan Cease, where he's getting the good results, but the metrics say he's probably closer to more of a 3.5 ERA. Not a whole lot of velo with Andrew Abbott. He's going to be sitting in the low 90s, but a guy that's got a good changeup. He's got good secondary pitches that he plays with. He's been solid this year, right? Gets a good amount, not a whole lot of ground balls. I'm not sure how that would play at Fenway Park. We're going to take a look at the metrics here. Mr. Abbott. He doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. He throws a lot of strikes, but he also gets guys to chase despite not really having a whole lot of velos. The 21st percentile. He induces a lot of weak contact. So, even though he doesn't get a lot of ground balls, perhaps that could play at Fenway Park. I mean, let's take a look at the expected. How many home runs has he given up here? Home runs allowed. Andrew Abbott, he's given up 10. Well, Boston with the Green Monster, that tends to lower the expected home runs, so they have it at 7. But, maybe this could be an option here. If we were to actually plug in a trade, let's take a look. Let's put Jarren Duran on the Reds. And if we put Andrew Abbott back to the... I'm going to say this. Abbott, he has more control than, I believe... Yes, he has more control than Duran does. He's at 4.5 years until free agency. Duran is at 3.5 years. Abbott's a starting pitcher. That's going to have a lot of value. So you are going to see more surplus value with Abbott compared to Duran. Something to pay attention to. The Reds do need offense, in my opinion. When you take a look at their lineup, I mean, they've had a lot of guys underperforming this year. I was high on the Reds coming into the year, and actually taking a look at the standings, where are the Reds right now? The Reds, I mean, they're 2.5 out in the wild card race. I do think they have a good team. They got great pitching. But if we're looking in the outfield, Gavin Lux, they have him out in left field right now. McLean, he's starting to get himself going here over the last month or so. So I guess you could move Lux somewhere. Spencer Steer has not been good this year. Could Gavin Lux, has he played first base at all? He has not played first base, so I don't know if that could be an option where they move him there. You got Friedel out in center field. He's not going anywhere. Jake Fraley, he's a lefty bat there. How's he doing? He's got a 114 WRC plus. He's 354 on base. He's been decent. So I do wonder where the fit could be here. I don't know if Fraley, one of these guys could maybe move to first base, and that could push Steer to the bench. Steer has not been good. OPS under a 700 at 696, only has a 90 WRC plus. So and then you got Austin Hayes at DH, but whatever it is, I could see the possibility of an upgrade. Semantics wise, you just have to figure out where Duran could go. In the end, though, do I see a trade like this happening? I'm going to say probably not. Anything's possible. I'll never say never. But when you got a guy like Abbott who has so much control, you usually don't see guys get moved that early. Usually, I mean, look at Joe Ryan. He's got 2.5 years of control. And, the Twins, they seem pretty hesitant to move him. And he's got 4.5 years. So I would imagine the Reds probably hang on to him unless they get blown away. But who knows? I mean, again, though, with Duran, it's kind of interesting to see where they could fit him. So I don't know if that would work out. If I were to go back again to Dylan Cease, I think this is possible. And the only reason I give it a good chance is really because of A.J. Preller. That guy has loved Duran for a couple of years now. Right? I mean, how long have the Padres been connected to Duran? It's not a secret at all. So I just think of A.J. Preller. I think of how aggressive he is. I mean, go back to last year's deadline. This guy was giving up his entire farm for guys like Tanner Scott, Jason Adam. Holy cow, he's giving up Dylan Lesko in trades like that. Robbie Snelling. I mean, holy cow. I mean, Robbie Snelling, both those guys were former top 100 prospects. And they ended up struggling with San Diego. But, Robbie Snelling, he's doing good with the Marlins now. So Preller doesn't seem to have an issue giving up guys in his farm. And if Dylan Cease can help complete a deal, I'm not going to, leave it off the table. I think it's possible. We'll just have to wait and see what ends up happening. But everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. Fun post game. We had about almost 200 people here in the chat. Again, we'll keep our eyes open for Marcelo Meyer. I'm sure we'll hear something tomorrow or hopefully by Friday. Going to be getting an MRI. I'm sure there's going to be more trade rumors dropping tomorrow. We do have a day off tomorrow. I mean, if there's a lot of news that comes across the desk tomorrow, then yeah, I'll go live at some point. It's trade season, everybody. We got a lot of rumors coming through. So if there's a lot of them, I'll be here tomorrow night. If it ends up being quiet, I'll probably see you Friday. But everybody, go enjoy the rest of your night. I appreciate you all coming by. If you can on the way out, just hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.